Humans of New York is a page that originated with this guy that used to take pictures of humans of New York. He's a photographer, and he would include with the pictures quotes from the people as the captions. And of course, something like that really tugs on our heartstrings. It's beautiful and it shares the stories of so many, and it's been one of my favorite accounts on the internet for years. It started, I think, as a blog, and it's now everywhere, like Facebook, Instagram. I personally like to follow it on Instagram. People call it Hony, Humans of New York, and there are a bunch of spin-offs. Okay, so the premise is always the same. Picture and quote taken directly from the subject of the picture in the caption. If you don't know about Humans of New York, link is down below. Love them. Okay, so most recently there was a Hony post about a lady who works as a therapist, I think a physical therapist, I don't remember exactly, either a physical therapist or an occupational therapist, with people who have special needs, right? She has done so for 2 decades, I believe is what it was about. And it was a photograph of her, a carousel of her with her patient, with at least one patient that was inspiring her story, and then some of the things she had done for them in a carousel of pictures on Instagram specifically. And in that story, it was a feel-good story, okay? It was a good things still happen story. Basically, she works with people who have severe physical disabilities, and she was inspired to beautify a bedroom for one of the people. And that beautification, which was also told in the photographs, was then the inspiration and impetus for her to do it many more times. So she's done it like several more times. I don't remember how many, but like 20 maybe, I think is what's going through my mind. So this woman, out of the goodness of her own heart, has redesigned and redecorated, let's say 20 bedrooms for people who she works with who have disabilities. And she works in the industry as a therapist, right? That's the premise. I read it and I thought, oh my God, what a beautiful heart, what a beautiful human, what a beautiful story, which is kind of what you go to Hony for. You go to it for the serotonin kick, the endorphin kick. You go to it to be reminded of the beauty and brokenness of the human story. But within her telling of the story, she was using words specifically like trapped in a wheelchair. So like her client, is trapped in a wheelchair, is stuck in their body. I think one of the words was imprisoned in their room or something like that. And I couldn't help but like be jarred every time I read trapped and stuck and imprisoned. And I was like, okay, this woman works with people with disabilities and she's using those words. How is that a thing? Run it back. If you don't know me, my name is Roshini and I have a son who was born with spina bifida. Okay, he's downstairs right now. He's playing Roblox. He's 9 years old. He uses a wheelchair to get around. Before I had my son, I was entirely outside of the world of people with disabilities. Entirely outside. Embarrassingly outside. It breaks my heart how outside I was. It was a non-thing. Okay, I was in a privileged position. Society was designed for me as an able person, and I was totally unaware that I was able-bodied, walking around, and had no concept of this marginalized group of people. That's the truth, Ruth, okay? When I had my son and I was, introduced to this world, I clearly was like, whoa, so much going on that I am unaware of. So many convoluted concepts and things that I personally have thought and have been fed to me by media, by well-meaning humans, or maybe not, I don't know, about how to consider the experience of this marginalized group of people with disabilities. And one of the things that had been fed to me was that they were trapped and that they were imprisoned and that they were stuck in their wheelchairs, in their homes, in their rooms, all that kind of stuff. And so I would have read a story like the Humans of New York story before I had my son, and I wouldn't have noticed any of that verbiage. I would have just It would have warmed my heart. It would have been like, oh my God, good people still exist. It's a feel-good story. I think I even saw like some people, you know, lots of people in the comment section be like, oh my God, humanity is still a good thing. It's a feel-good story. But once I was in the community of people and have been in the community of people who live with disabilities and who use adaptive equipment like wheelchairs to get around, it shifted my entire experience of the thing. And I realized that they are not trapped, they are not stuck, they are not imprisoned. The wheelchair is a tool of freedom. It's their transportation. It's how they get to use the world. The same way how I am not trapped or stuck or imprisoned by these glasses, which are the most common adaptive equipment that I know of, help me to see clearly. They free me. They don't imprison me, right? My eyes don't work as well as they could. So I get this external thing, this piece of adaptive equipment, I slap it on there and I'm free to see you, to read, to use the computer, etc., right? The other thing that bothered me about the story was the woman in the pictures worked with people with disabilities. It's one thing for a person who doesn't have any exposure to that world to use that kind of verbiage, because I mean, yeah, they're going to say stuff like that because that's what we are taught. That's how we are taught to see people with disabilities. We are taught to see them in this othering type of language, and like my version of existing is the preferred and intended existing. I am able-bodied and this is how it's supposed to be, so anything else is something else, you know, which is how people of privilege look at stuff, and you can interpret that how you want to. When you are in the privileged position, that's kind of what people do. They center themselves and the other people. When you get into the world of people with disabilities, you realize that it's not that I'm the center and they're the other. We're all just spokes on humans. The center is human. And Roshini, who can do this, is one of the spokes. Person who uses wheelchair is one of the spokes. Person who uses crutches is one of the spokes. Person with one leg is one of the spokes, right? And the world could very well be more accessible to all of us, as opposed to centering me, whatever. As a person that works with people with disability, it broke my heart that she was saying words like trapped and stuck and imprisoned, because that means that out of the abundance of her heart, the mouth speaks. She's working with people and she's still seeing them as other and her as the center. And that bothered me. It would break my heart to know that one of the therapists that was working with my son saw him as trapped or stuck or imprisoned. And if you're one of the therapists that works with my son and you're watching this video, if you see him as trapped or stuck or imprisoned, do you know him? Like, have you checked on my kid? Okay, because what about him is trapped, stuck, or imprisoned? Like, what? He's freed by these assistive things. The world is treating him like he's a human, which is the center, and he's just one of the various ways humans are existing on the planet. Okay? Anywho, I'm getting long-winded, but I'm gonna wrap it up. I commented this in the comment section. My comment sounded something like, I'll put it on the screen, but my comment was basically like, hey, thanks for everything you do. It's a beautiful story. Also, could you consider not using words like stuck and trapped? As a person that works with people with disabilities, it shapes how you see them. And it could also inform how others see them, because they're taking it from you as a leader in this space, right? And then I sandwiched it. Once again, thank you so much for what you've done, blah, 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 blah. And so the first lesson of this video, which I took a long time explaining, but I think it's useful, is what I said. Stop centering yourself. If you are an able-bodied person who wants to see the world as a more inclusive space, consider not centering yourself as the way it's supposed to be, like the middle of the wheel, and everyone else as other. Consider that humans are the word human is the middle of the wheel, and expressions of humanity are the spokes, and you're just one of the various expressions of humanity. And that's in all the spaces, not just this space, not just in the disability space. That's not. Anywho, the second part of this video is about, let me give you this communication tip and let me move on. I said what I said and I went on by my business. Okay. But of course, Hony is a huge account with millions of followers. So then some, you know, I didn't even realize. I thought I was the only person that thought this. And I was like, I'm just saying, I'll move on. I came on the next day and a bunch of other people had commented something very similarly in various tones. Some were very kind. Some were very like triggered and like WTF. Some were people with disabilities who were like, hello, I am a human. Why are you talking about me like that? You know, they were... You know what I mean? And listen, I'm just a squirrel trying to I'm just out here. Okay, I'm just a mom. I'm just out here. So you're the one. So this ain't even my fight to fight. Okay, girl, talk that talk. Go off. Okay, go off, girl. I had nothing to do with how people were bringing their stuff. And I just thought, oh, I'm not the only person that thought that. Went by my business. Noticed a lot of people had liked my comment. I was like, oh, okay. Who knew? I'm not the only person that felt the tinges every time they saw that, like she was chopping me in the throat. Of course, it's been a few days now, and people are now having, I don't know if they're arguing under my comment. One person came on and was like, well, you know, people are like, oh, this is great. Thank you for sharing this version. Okay. Then one person is like, thank you for sharing the version, and thank you for not doing it the way that other people did it. What that got to do with me? Then the other person came in. Why are you tone policing people? The other people could do it however they want to do it, which is true. Which is true. Hello. I had actually written a long blog post several years ago about marginalization and the experience of being in a marginalized group. It was many years ago, 5, 6 years ago. I'll put a link to it down below. And one of the points that I discovered in my own journey, and that I love to share with other people, is marginalized people don't owe you nothing when it comes to how they tell you their experience, the how. Some people are going to be able to come at you calm like I am and be like, hey, could you consider not using these words? And other people are going to pop off. I'm not saying that pop off is going to get you the results you want, but as the receiver, the best thing that you can do when somebody is popping off and they have had a very horrible experience in a society that just keeps putting them to the side, that just keeps telling them they are not the center of the wheel, that just keeps telling them that they are not the human, they are the other, sometimes people are gonna pop off. And you can't police them on that. Or at least you're going to get better results when you realize, okay, well, I mean, they're popping off, which is understandable. I'm going to understand. I'm going to ignore the tone and dig into what they're actually saying and get the, you know, take the meat out of the sandwich, right? So anyway, that's the first thing. Then now they're going back and forth. One chick wrote a paragraph, like not even a paragraph, because the Instagram, did you thumb type that, girl? Just... This is not what I meant. Girl, what? Just, and I don't know why you're telling me you tone policing, and then they going back and forth, back and forth. And this is me. Just kawaii. So, here's the pro tip. My Bible says make your request known. Okay? Your request. It don't say make their request known. It don't say make his request known. It don't say make her request known. It don't say be in their business. It don't say tone police them. It don't say consider, you know, tell them what to do, tell them what they should do, talk for other people. It don't say none of that. It says make your request known. I went to the post. I spoke directly to the woman in the post, and I made my request known. Hi. Thank you. You're doing great work. Consider not using these words. Why should you consider it? Thank you again. Have a good day. I'm out. Pro tip. Nobody can fight you when you make your request known. Walk away and you're done. I spoke directly to who I wanted the request to be received from, and I was about my business. I'm not in the comment section going off on people in the comments. That's not your request. That's another request. Because if you want to be real philosophical and deep about it, now you tone policing the person who was tone policing. And do you get to tone police the tone policer? Like, be quiet. Shh. If you just talk directly to the person you're talking to, you make your request known to them. And this will bless you if you let it. Okay? Nobody could come in and tell you nothing. What is happening? Oh, the washer's shaking. I thought we were having an earthquake. Lord Jesus. This video is much longer than I intended it to be. So that's the pro tip, okay? Make your request known and mind your business. Don't spend so much time underneath somebody else's comment. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I said something to this other lady. Where the two of y'all coming from? Y'all don't have laundry to do? I'm washing. Y'all don't have laundry to do? Teeth to brush? Hello? Plants to water? A cake to bake? A walk to take? A nap to enjoy? Okay. Y'all don't have laughs like a show to watch? What is going on? That's the pro tip. Let me know if you're going to use this pro tip and how below. Leave your questions and comments in the comment section, because you never know, they may become the next video. And until the next video, be well, be encouraged. Here's a pineapple. Bye, y'all.